Here is a delicious dinner that takes no time to prepare, low in calories at 400 per serving, and over 40 grams of protein. As always, you find the ingredients down below the video in description. I'm using just whatever vegetables I have on hand, but honestly, I always have those on hand for this particular dishes because I do make this dish a lot of times. And cabbage is just perfect. It's low in calories, it's sweet, and just a perfect vegetable for this type of dish. We're gonna start with a sauce first. And I'm measuring here about 2 ounces of low sodium soy sauce, and that's about 4 tablespoons. Rice vinegar, just a tablespoon. We don't want to overpower the sauce. And this is a fish sauce. It's stinky, but it really adds a lot of flavor. I don't know how, but it does. So it's just like a teaspoon. You don't need more than that, just a little bit of flavor. And cornstarch to hold it all together after we put it on the pan, about a tablespoon. And I'm going to use brown sugar, 2 teaspoons. Because it's so little, I don't like to use sweeteners for that. It's just no need. It's just a few calories, 30 calories per whole dish. It's really not that much. It's not going to affect anything. Stir it up so everything combines and cornstarch dissolves. And I like to add extra spiciness, so I'm going to use my favorite sriracha sauce. But this is, of course, completely optional. And feel free to double the sauce. This is just enough to coat the vegetables. You're not gonna have a lot of sauce left in the pan. I don't really care for it. But if you like very saucy dishes, you can double the recipe. A little taste test. Perfect. Yeah, make sure you taste it so you know that you're gonna like it. Or not, and it needs adjusting. So we're gonna cut up the vegetables first. It is extremely important that you cut it up. Everything has to be prepared ahead of time. The sauce, the veggies, everything ready to go because the cooking time takes just few minutes. You have to be very, very quick, and you have no time to be preparing and cutting the ingredients while everything is on the heat and is on extreme heat. This jalapeno, I have to be honest, it's a hit or miss. This one wasn't spicy at all. So if you, like myself, you like spicy dishes, go for serrano pepper. I never get unlucky with that one. It's always spicy. With jalapeno, sometimes it's extremely fiery spicy, and sometimes it's like no spice at all. And I like to cut the carrot pretty finely, I guess they would call it julienne for the fancy way of saying it, because it gets softer faster. You want the vegetables to be crunchy, but at the same time not so crunchy that they just seem not to be cooked at all. And I'm only gonna use half of this cabbage. I'm cooking for 3 people, so half a cabbage for 3 portions. It's perfect. I mean, you might think that it's too big, but when the cabbage cooks, it just becomes like probably 1/4 its size. This dish, like I said, gonna feed 3 people, but these are definitely very large portions. But that's how I get satisfied. Large volume of food with low calories and high protein. And that's the best way to eat if you want to enjoy other foods every now and then and still keep your weight in check. And here I have green onions. I'm gonna chop them roughly. Big pieces are good. And also I'm gonna chop cilantro. Run your knife over just once. I see sometimes people chop it, although I did it myself before, and when you chop cilantro too much, it just gets wilted and loses all the flavor. And with the garlic, you can do it with different ways. You can slice it. You can chop it in small bite-sized pieces. But I know some people just don't like to have cooked garlic in their food. So the next option is just use this garlic smasher and just smash it right into the dish when you're ready to add it. So here you go, 3 different options. And I'm going to start with beef. I do not add any oil initially to the pan because even though this is 93% fat ground beef, it still has some fat in it, so you really don't need it. It's going to get nice and brown. So this is the first step. You can use any other protein like ground chicken or ground turkey. Ground turkey comes with 2 different types, meaning the one that has only breast ground, which is the leanest one at 120 calories per 4 ounces. And also you have the regular turkey that's 170 calories per 4 ounces, which is exactly the same as this ground beef. And I absolutely prefer ground beef flavor versus turkey flavor. So you can do whatever you have or whatever you prefer. Just know that this is a great option if you use a lean beef. And I'm going to season, I know I'm adding soy sauce, but I still like my food seasoned. So salt and pepper gotta be in it, doesn't matter what. And a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes, because I know the jalapeno is not that spicy. So I need extra spice. And this is good enough. Make sure that on the wok, the heat is extremely, extremely hot, so the food on it doesn't boil, just fries. A little bit garlic first. I'm going to add a tiny teaspoon of sesame oil. Yes, I know, sesame oil is only for the flavor, not for frying, but I don't want to add extra oil. That's why it's like 2 in 1 for me. And right away the veggies, so the garlic doesn't have an opportunity to burn, because without all that oil and hot pot, it's going to burn extremely quick. So stir it. And I'm going to deglaze the pan just a little bit because I don't want to get it like black underneath. So I'm adding a little bit of water. Just a little bit so you hear the hissing sound. So the pot deglaze, or the pan deglazes. And that's about it. I don't want an extra water or anything like that for the vegetables to boil. I want them to fry. And you're going to know when they're ready, when the cabbage gets a little bit translucent. And at that time, it's still crunchy, but not too soft. And again, salt and pepper for the extra flavor, making sure that everything is properly seasoned. And stir it one more time. And just a little bit, another teaspoon of sesame oil for the flavor. This time I'm just flavoring the veggies. And it literally takes about 5 to 10 minutes. Now I'm adding garlic at this moment, the additional one. I like everything very garlicky. So I'm adding it a little bit later, so I still have this pungent taste. If you're not into garlic flavors, then avoid doing that. Add garlic at the very beginning, or just don't add as much as I did. And this is pretty much done, and the beef goes back in the pan. And now it's time for our sauce. And a little bit of water, just a couple of tablespoons, and stir it together. And at this point, I'm gonna add one part of the cilantro that's by the end, so it can kind of flavor the whole mixture. Let the sauce cook for a little bit and take it off the heat. And now once it's off the heat, I'm gonna add cilantro and green onions. Pretty much stir it and you are ready to serve. So these are 3 portion sizes. Yeah, it's big portions, but that's how I like it. I like to serve it with rice. I have here like 100 grams of cooked rice, and 1/3 of that dish will have about 400 calories and almost 44 grams of protein, which is a lot. You're definitely gonna be full. And 100 grams of cooked rice, it's like 150 calories or a little bit less. I'm gonna put the information here so you can see. And now for extra flavor, I love this sugar-free sweet chili sauce. It's only 5 calories per 2 tablespoons. And tastes very similar to this one, which you're probably familiar with. It's delicious, but 80 calories for 2 tablespoons. So I prefer the 5 calories every day, especially that the flavor is so amazing. And I'm gonna add my 2 tablespoons right here for the extra 5 calories. It's all worth it. A little stir, and look at this, a perfect bite. Yeah, absolutely delicious. It's a huge bowl of food and you're gonna be absolutely satisfied. With rice and everything, it comes to be about 550 calories. That's not so bad for very, very delicious meal, very filling. Go ahead and watch some dessert videos now, and that's where I'm going to see you next.